as she celebrated her birthday on Friday. And it seems like all we did was eat. On Thursday, day before I was supposed to come back home, we went to our favorite restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant, and we all love the food there. So as we were in the place, my mom was on one side of the table, and my sister was on the other side of the table. My younger brother, a niece, a nephew, and then two great nephews. So those are the folks around the table. And as always happens, we started to talk. And the question that I posed first to my sister was, what is your favorite food that Mom used to make? Mom's been in the facility for the last year and a half, so she's not able to cook for us. I think my mom's love language was one of service. And that was pretty evident in the meals that she prepared for us. Having 6 boys, 1 girl, it seemed always in the kitchen. And so then it seemed like everyone had a turn to respond to that question. It's a pretty superficial question. Have you been at a family dinner and you have this moment of reflection and you get to see all the people that are around the table? We might call it a moment of grace. As I saw my mom on one side, my sister on another side, I thought of a more substantial question. And I thought, what struggle have they brought to the table? We understand struggle too, don't we? A couple days before my mom's birthday, I said, how do you feel? She turned 77 on Friday. And she says, I'm a bit sad. And so I said, Mom, what are you sad about? My mom was adopted probably as a 4-month baby. And there's this nagging question that she doesn't understand. She goes, why did my mom give me up for adoption? Some call it a primal wound. I don't know. But I said, Mom, I'm grateful that she did. Because then you met Dad, and together you were able to raise a family of 7 and all your grandchildren and grandchildren. Isn't that a great gift? And she recognizes that. But there is that sorrow of not really understanding why her birth mother gave her up for adoption. And then I looked and glanced at my sister, and I thought of her struggle. I thought of my niece, who's also had a struggle. When Jesus was at the table preparing his disciples, he says, when you do this, remember what I have done for you. Isn't that genius? That Jesus decided to take very simple elements of bread and wine, things that we understand, and to bless them, to break them, to give them, and to share them. And that they become his body and his blood. And we call that food for our journey. And so as I thought about the different struggles around that table, I thought it is this strength that helps them get through it. It is my mom's faith that she has passed on to us that has helped us get through our struggle. And I'm sure the same can be said for all of you. When you sit around your tables, especially at major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, birthdays, you can recognize the presence of God. St. Augustine says beautifully, be what you see and receive what you are. Be what you see and receive what you are. So perhaps a little bit of homework this next week, that when we go and we sit around the table with our family, that we're more intentional. That we're not just able to answer those superficial kind of questions, but the more substantial questions. And say, how is God present here and now? How is God present in our struggle? Perhaps the struggle is so great that we don't know how it's going to end. And that's why we receive communion. That's why Margaret is going to receive her first communion today. A lifetime commitment to receiving the body and blood of Christ. so that we be strengthened wherever we are on our struggle. And that we are able to share. As Jesus received, blessed, broke, and gave, so we're called to do the same. So as we're around our tables today or tomorrow or this week, let us recognize the presence of God.